What's up? Oh man, let me go back. Let me get a glass of water. STC, what's up? Brother? What's up? Mushroom Manny, what's up, dude? Brandon, what? Something doesn't make no sense, bro. Huh? Huh? Brandon. Mushroom Manny. Mushroom Manny. No, never. Nope, never. What's up? Hey, Mushroom Man and me behaving? Devin thinks me behaving? No. I never behave. Never. My channel, I could do anything I want. You know, almost anything. I never behave. Oh, the moon, the moon sun, the moon is shining. Uh, meditate. You need to meditate. Guys, just close your eyes. Let's do something different today. Guys, let's close your eyes. Meditate it. You know? No. Let's go. Let's meditate. Close your eyes, people. Think positive stuff coming for you. Meditate. Meditate. Close your eyes. Let's close your eyes. Relax. Happy thought. Just think people who are stressful, who looking at my channel, anyone with the disease, just close your eyes, relax, think positive stuff, happy stuff. What you tried, what you did when you was a baby. Okay. Pretend you're in the forest. Mm. Think very good. Let the breeze come through you. Meditate. Think positive stuff. Will help you. Stress, stress or any disease you have. Oh, this is so relaxing. You guys are relaxing right now? You guys are really relaxing? Hey, John. Excalibur, what's up? You guys are less stressed now? You guys are thinking positive stuff right now? Just close your eyes. Just meditate. Think positive stuff. Be responsible. Just think. This will help you to sleep. That's the meditate. Think positive stuff. Think. Relax. This is good for people who stress out, depression, sadness people. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Out. Mm. Meditate. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe. Meditate. You guys are relaxing. You know, taps. It really helps. Just meditate, people. I know you are watching. If anyone wants to talk, people in the background, If you have depression, bipolar, or any disease, you have sit down and meditate. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Meditate. Okay. Relax. Close your eyes. Breathe in, breathe out. Close your eyes. Let's close your eyes. Rest your head on the pillow. Sit down on the chair. Hmm. I sent you the link already. Here. Hold on. Okay, try it. Try it out. Tats. Okay, go on. Breathe in, breathe out. What's up?
Man, I think you're doing a good job today.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's relaxing.
Yeah, man.
Feel that better.
Yeah, I think it's good. As a matter of fact, when I go through my therapy sessions, sometimes we do relaxing exercises
Oh,
like that.
serious. That really helps.
No, I agree. Another way to do it is also where you tighten up, like just say, tighten up your leg with your muscles,
Ah,
flex every muscle in your leg, and then hold it for like 10 seconds and then release it. And then do it in the other leg and tense it up real tight and then release it. And then do it in your abdomen and then your chest and your arms. And that helps too.
hey, Tim, it's not giving birth. It's good for people who have depression, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they could sleep better, you know?
No, I agree. And it's also good to visualize yourself in a place that you really would like to visit, or
Mm-hmm.
like if you like forest, or if you like
Mm-hmm.
swimming, or if you like just to lay on the beach, or do you just like a certain place, to visualize that you're there and experiencing all those things that you enjoy. So that also helps. But sometimes in the moment, it's hard, when you're going through it and it's hard to even think about
Oh, I
doing these
know.
things.
I should be a therapist.
Yeah, that's it. Progressive muscle relaxation. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've done a few things like that. I go through therapy pretty often, so we do all kinds of different things, because
You know,
I'm a damn nutcase.
if you cannot sleep, never take any sleeping pills. Not good.
You know what I can tell you? A lot of people take melatonin, and I'll tell you what happens with melatonin. Your I think it's your pituitary gland that produces melatonin. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And And what happens is if you keep taking melatonin, your brain decides, well, hell, I already have melatonin in my system, so I don't need to produce it anymore. So what happens is you become dependent on it because your brain's not putting out as much as it used to because you're putting it in artificially. And so just wanted to throw that out there for those of you guys that use melatonin. And it's like any other drug. The more times you use it, the more you're going to need to achieve the same thing. So yeah, I've learned that a little bit anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Especially STC, he's getting out of stress out lately.
Yeah, I mean, we all do. We all go through those
That's
times.
what it's
And
good to do relaxing.
yeah,
Relax. Hey, how's cool? What's up?
yeah, pineal gland. Yeah, I forgot which one it was. Great night, but yeah, thanks. I always forget. You know, I'm not a freaking neurologist, though I play one on TV. But the brain is actually a very interesting thing. You know.
It's that what now Lois is doing. He's
Yeah,
doing.
that's true, Gray Knight. It doesn't. Your body's reaction to light. When you see light, when you're out, your natural body instinct is to wake up. That's just a primal instinct that we have. So it programs your body to wake up. So if you go out and let's just say you use the bathroom in the middle of the night and the lights on, sometimes you may have a hard time getting back to sleep because you've exposed yourself to the light. So.
You
Yeah,
see, us comes in. Everybody comes in.
yeah. Ice Cold, man. He's a good guy. I've watched a
You know
lot of his
what?
videos.
Yeah, you know what's really good? Helping Chilamongers and us helping the homeless.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yep,
I
that's
like
awesome.
that. It
Yeah,
relaxes me. Forget the stuff at work.
right, right. Well, some of the best things you can do for somebody is to help other people to make yourself less stressed too. A lot of
Hmm.
times.
Yeah,
So, by helping other people, it helps you at the
yeah.
same time.
But
But
last week he didn't make it because he's too tired. You
yeah,
know.
well, we all have those days. We all have those days, and so it's just I'm kind of relaxing now after all of that garbage that went on. I'm trying to clear my mind of all of that stuff and just get back to what I normally do on my channel. But I might make that Purple Heart thing a weekly thing. I don't know if anybody thinks that's a good idea, but I thought about doing that a weekly thing just to recognize people that just don't nobody knows about, and maybe just
That's
tell a
good
little
to
bit about their
explain.
story. Yeah, just people, they're just average people, man. They're not any bit different than you and I. They just went through a difficult
Because
thing. And
sometimes people could twist it around on the people's hearts.
yeah, but I don't know. I might do something like that. I even thought about when I started doing that, I was like, you know what, this feels much better than what I normally do. I was thinking, man, maybe I just do you test, fuck what people think. Yeah, I know. But
You
but
know,
part of being a content creator, I think, is you want to give people what they want to watch. You know what I mean? I mean, I sometimes I guess whether or not I don't know that people even care about what I watch or what I do. You know what I mean? But sometimes I think maybe I should go at a different angle and do something a little different. I don't know.
you know what you
You
should
know.
do? You should explain all about the people's heart. A video.
Yeah, actually, I was planning on doing that. I haven't done it yet, but I'm working on it.
That'd be good. Everybody will know what it is.
I'm learning a lot about the history of. I'm learning about the history of the Purple Heart right now, so I can do a video on it and be educated about it. So I'm studying about it right now, and
You
then
know what's sad about it? All the history is going away because all the old veterans are dying.
yeah. Well, Hard Life. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I think the dead horse is dead now. I mean, I could. But I don't know that I want to revisit that anymore. Because to be honest with you, the whole time I was doing that, I was pretty miserable. I didn't like doing it.
It's not you.
It's
a
not
depression.
it's not what I like to do.
Yeah. It's
You
not
know?
good for this person either. It's not good for your mind, especially with a depression.
It just was too much negativity and things like that for me.
Because you have a history of issues, health issues.
Right.
To me,
I didn't want to get involved in it, to be honest with you. I really didn't, but I felt like I had to.
well, at least you have at least all the veterans listen to you. This is just good, you know.
And I went out on a limb, you know, because sometimes I was second guessing myself, going, "Holy shit, man! You know, what if he turns around and he shows all this evidence that I never had, you know, and I never knew about, and what if he did all that?" But then I started thinking to myself, well, you know what you're talking about. Sometimes you got to convince yourself of that. You know, you got to say, well, you do know this. You understand it. You understand what he's doing and what he's not doing and what he's saying is true and what's not true. But sometimes I had to convince myself of that just to make sure that I was giving my best effort to everybody.
Sometimes it's the best bet to keep your mouth shut and no one doesn't know your history.
I don't tell.
No, not you. I'm talking to other person. You know, people.
Yeah, I don't tell my history on here. I try to keep.
I know, but when you start talking shit, you better back it up.
Right.
If you don't want to back it up, don't say nothing. You know.
Well, you'll never hear from me because I have haters.
But I'm talking Randall. He should never open his mouth. Keep his mouth shut. It would never happen.
Well, to be honest with you, Greg, all he really had to say is, "Look, I tried to join the military a couple of times.
Yep,
it didn't work out, and
I'm sorry, guys.
But that's okay.
I tried. You know.
It's okay. That's okay. That's plenty fine. I have respect for people that do that. I mean, it's with anything in life, you know. If you wanted to be a singer or something and it didn't work out, whatever it is.
Great,
you know, it's okay to admit that it's okay that you admit that you tried and you failed. I mean, failure is part of life. You know, I don't know, man.
Failure's a big part of life.
Yeah, and it's okay.
They say it's the best teacher.
Yeah, it's okay.
I adore you and thanks of you.
You know, and I want to be honest with you. People think that I'm really like angry at him. I was angry at him at the time, but right now I want to just say, hey, look, man.
Not angry, disappointed.
Yeah, I guess you can call it that.
Disappointed.
Who are we talking about?
The old Dangle Wrangle. Fraud Wrangler.
Okay.
Yeah. I want him to do well in life. I want everybody to do well in life. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I don't want him to suffer from all of this. I want him to feel relieved that it's finally out in the open. You know, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Like, weren't you a mod for him?
Who I stopped that now since I'm done with them pretty much.
Yeah, but like originally you found
I was because
you followed him from long enough ago that he decided to make a mod at you. So
right, I did because of my channel, because of what I do. I was doing it as kind of a intelligence gathering operation because I smelt something a long time ago about him and I wasn't sure what it was. And something a little bit off, you know, and I heard a lot of his stories and it just wasn't like clicking in my head that to be true. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep on this guy and I'm gonna follow him and I'm gonna try to gain his trust and see what else he might tell me. So that's kind of what I did.
I wanted the same thing.
Yeah, that's all, you know.
Yep.
But the one things you won't hear about me is I'll never tell you the dates that I served in the military. I won't tell you what I actually did in the except for some easier deployments and things like that. I won't tell you anything about my other deployments if I did any or not. All I'm telling you is that I served in the military. I was a medic in the infantry. I did my time. I served honorably. And I deployed a couple places, but I don't care to talk about any of that because some of those deployments aren't very pleasant to talk about.
You know, I tried to join it The Army?
My MOS was well, initially it was a 91 Bravo. Okay, 91 Bravo is what medics used to be called, and then they switched it up on in the middle of my time in to 68 Whiskey, which is medical specialist, which is now I'll tell you a funny story about that if you want to hear it. When I first joined, what did I first want to do? I wanted to be an occupational therapist assistant. And I don't know, Gregory, have you ever been through occupational therapy?
No.
So
Never did it.
what occupational therapy is when somebody has, let's say, a stroke or a brain
Or
injury,
injury.
like you had, yeah, or any kind of injury.
Yeah, I
Um,
did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
so you've done that, like,
Yes.
doing motor skills and things. Yeah. And that's very common. So I wanted to do that initially, but that job I had to wait another 6 months to join in. And I really, at the time, I was really anxious to get in. So I sat down with this liaison officer who was trying to figure out what job I wanted to do. And I said, well, I want to do something in the medical field, so if there's something else available that I might be interested, could you show me what it would be? And he said, now I always wanted to be a medic. I always wanted to be a medic as a kid, but as I got older, because I loved Desmond Doss. Desmond Doss was somebody I knew about for a very long time. So I always wanted in the back of my mind, in the forefront of my mind, to be a medic, but I wasn't quite sure at the exact time whether to take that leap, So he presented to me this job, 91 Bravo medical specialist. And I asked him about it, and he told me what it was. And I was like, you know what? Sign me up. I want to be a medic. And that's what I was. I became a medic like that. And I went to Fort Knox. Yeah, that's him. Desmond Doss, Medal of Honor winner, refused to touch a gun of any type, and served in World War II, and was definitely a brave man to do what he did. And I learned about him through my grandfather, who was also a World War II veteran. And I knew about him since I was little. And then when I started seeing documentaries about him, and then finally a movie come out about him, the movie's not exactly perfect to what he actually did, but it's pretty close. It's close enough. It's pretty close. I mean, but I would recommend watching the documentary called Conscientious Objector. That's his documentary, and that's him actually telling the story in his own words. So if you want to hear the actual real story and how it happened, and now he's a very religious man. So, if that kind of thing pisses you off, then it's probably not a video for you, but I would recommend it. It's a very good story. And he was an amazing guy. And I always wanted to be a medic based on his story. So I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky to go through basic training. That was hard. It was challenging. I was already in pretty good shape, so it was challenging and everything. I was learning a lot of new things that I never knew before. And then after that, I went to San Antonio, Texas, at Fort Sam Houston. And I went through medic school, and I learned to be a medic. So, that's what I did. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of World War II veterans, a lot of World War II vets or medics, I'm sorry, a lot of World War II medics were conscientious objectors. A lot of them would carry a gun, but they didn't really want to use it. And quite frankly, it's very rare that a medic would have to even do it. Fire back in anger. Usually, you're surrounded by guys that can do all that for you. And then that gives you time to do your job.
Yeah. By the time anything's happening, like your hands are full.
Right.
Like you're not going to be like, quick, give me a pistol. Right. That's going to turn the tide.
Well, I carried my weapon that I carried on me was a 9mm Beretta, 16 rounds, including one in the chamber. So that 15 round magazine and one in the chamber would be what I carried. But, as a medic, your hands are busy saving people more than it would be to take someone's life,
Yeah, and having like just a Beretta, if like you're in a trench fight, is basic. It's just a formality, really. Like they can't have you out there with no weapon at all. I mean,
right. Well, my job also is
whatever. We got to give you something, but we know you're not going to use this. And if you have to use it in a trench fight, you're probably going to lose to whatever is coming down the trench.
most likely. And I won't say that I didn't cross train a little bit with the infantry guys. Sometimes they get a thrill out of putting old Doc up there on the firing line, and hey, Doc, why don't you fire one of these? And of course, fuck it, why not? So I would get up
You
and
have to
fire
know how to
different
do like
things.
all the stuff, like no matter what
Right.
your job is in the military. Like my buddy
Right.
was like a cook, but he was like a cook in an airborne division. So like you
Right.
have to be able to like make food after you jump out of an airplane.
I would say the highlight of my military career, as far as making things go boom, is a 38 daisy chained, which means they were all connected Claymore mine experience that I did. I got to clack those off. I got to set off 38 Claymore mines all at the same time. And that freaking rocked my world right there. I thought that was great. But
How much does a claymore weigh?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know how much a Claymore weighs. It's
how much explosive is in each one?
No, I don't know all that stuff. I mean, I kind of wish I did, since you're
that
asking
sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a lot. It turned the sky black. I mean, you couldn't see anything after that for a good while. I mean, it kicked up so much dust and debris, and it was really crazy. But it was pretty thrilling. I mean, it wasn't the highlight of my military career itself. It was just my a Claymore. Yeah, a Claymore does have more power than you would imagine, I think, in real life. Those things sound the hell off. You know what else is really loud? Is a Bangalore torpedo. A lot of people don't know what a Bangalore torpedo is, but those bitches are really loud. Yeah, if you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, they start sliding this thing. It looks like a pole underneath the barbed wire, and they're trying to blow the barriers that the Germans set up. And that was a Claymore mine. So it's basically a pole that you can connect other poles full of explosives inside of that, and then you can either set it off with a electronic detonation or a manual time fuse or whatever you want, and then slide it under the obstacle, and it blows the hell up. And it is something to behold. Let me put it to you that way. That is one hell of a thing.
Did they teach you how to fire a fixed machine gun?
I fired an M60 a couple times. I fired a SAW a few times. I fired M16s.
But they teach you M16, like all the firing patterns, like searching and oblique. And
no, I didn't get in that kind of depth in with that. No, I just did it just because we had a few extra rounds to burn off, or the 60 gunner said, "Hey, Doc, you want to try it a few rounds?" That kind of thing. That really wasn't pertinent to my MOS, really.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't trained. It wasn't like officially trained for me. In basic training, we fired a few things like
like how to like load it and shoot it.
Right.
Everybody else is dead. They do that for everybody.
Right. In basic training,
you have to know how to use all the guns, even if you are a janitor.
Right. Janitor, absolutely.
Like they jigging KFAR for being like, I'll say like a bosun's mate. They have kind of a reputation in the Navy for just they are the grunts, right?
Right.
And some of them will be like really sharp guys. Some of them will have been like bosun, like a bosun for like fucking,
like the Navy
12 years or more. Yeah. And like, they know everything about the ship. So like that reputation doesn't really apply to that guy.
You were Navy, you said?
Your reputation. Huh?
Were you Navy?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say I'm a military brat, but like, a lot of people in my family served.
Oh, okay. You sound you do know quite a bit.
Friends and it's you hear stories. Like I remember my grandfather used to talk about like when he was an infantry. They trained him in the Army for World War II. Right. He wasn't infantry. He was airborne. He was a waist gunner and a bomber.
Right.
Like they taught him how to shoot a machine gun, and like he taught, he described all that as he's like talking about like training.
You do learn,
and that was actually my first introduction to like the same verbiage is used for like brakes and stuff And
Right.
you know,
Right.
in medical terms, right? Like, you know,
Right.
transverse, oblique. There's no longitudinal. That's searching, but like, you know, it's the
Right.
same. It's the same shit, right?
Right.
And like
Yeah.
that's you know that's what you know going into like a medical field. Like it was, I thought it was kind of cool that like you know the old man taught me a little something that I could use later on in life.
Yeah, no, the medical field you know, for me, I always tell people if you go in the medical field, you better learn how to start memorizing terminology
Yeah, I'm
by a
terrible
lot.
at that.
That
Also
was
because I'm a stoner, so like my short-term memory is garbage. So like the
right,
uptake to my long-term memory just is like, you know, kind of hamstrung in that way.
right. One of the
There's
hardest
a
things for
bottleneck,
me
which is
to
exactly how much THC I've taken in.
medical abbreviations were like a bitch for me to start remembering those. We had to learn a lot of those because we had to do what they call soap notes when you are filling out a subjective, objective, and what was the other one? P. What did fucking P stand for? Or AP stand for? I don't fucking even remember anymore.
Oh god.
Um, uh, but um, but anyway, that's how you take down a note for a patient. You know, if you're writing medical notes, and you had to learn the abbreviations and you know like PRN, NPO, which is nothing by mouth, like
Yeah.
TID twice a day.
Yeah. Well, BID is twice a day. TID.
BID, yeah, that's right. 3 times a day is
like
TID.
Greek or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. Those kinds of things, and you learn a lot about Latin too. By the way,
Yeah,
you
and
learn
sometimes like I'm learning now, like this is my third semester in nursing, and like with maternity and pediatrics.
right,
So like everywhere else you'll hear ROM, and like you probably
right.
learned that's range of motion. A normal
Yeah,
people
range of
would
motion.
think
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
but if you're working in maternity, it's rupture of membrane.
right.
So,
Or
like
another
because you don't worry
common
about how far they can wiggle their arms, like you know, it's
one
different
terminology I learned later on was DNL. Do you know what that is?
PNL.
DNL with a delta DNL.
No, I don't. I don't know
Did
that.
not look. You never want to see that on your medical record.
Oh,
Did not look. That's I don't know if that's an official term, but that's what our PA used to have us put down for
what does
certain
that
things.
mean?
Just did not check this thing.
Oh, geez, no. Yeah,
Maybe because you were in a situation where you couldn't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that could be it. But yeah, that was one that was kind of new to me. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm not gonna put that shit on my damn
yeah. Right.
dope
Like
notes.
you know, they teach you definitely not to record that when you're working in the private sector. Geez.
Right, yeah. But I don't know. That's what they did. I mean, but you know, field medicine is virtually the same as the civilian side of it, but there are a few things like triage and things that aren't the same as in a civilian, like in a city or a town or something like that. You know.
Yeah, like I thought that a medic in like the army, like you know, a guy that's in with the you know the companies in front, like that are you know
Right.
fighting out there. They're not like at some hospital somewhere.
No,
Like if you're in a
that's what I
hospital, there's
did.
probably just nurses there. Like anybody that's a medic is. You
Oh
know,
no. Medics do work in hospitals too. A medic can work in a dermatology office. Like medics are very. That's why the MOS isn't called combat medic. The MOS
Okay.
is called medical specialist. So
Yeah,
you can
I was
work.
wondering like how broad the scope of practice is.
Oh
Because,
no,
like,
man! It's huge.
I know
Like,
that like you know generally it's assumed that like the you know the role of a paramedic, which you know so in the civilian world like there's EMTs, which are like basically
right?
guys who know how to drive and like you know
Yeah,
bandages.
right.
Like you know like they've had a you know a criminal background check. They know how to drive a car, and like you know they know which is the business end of a splint probably. So like
Right.
yeah, here's an EMT. And then above
Right.
them are paramedics, and
Right.
like that's that both of those are a different role than like hospital and nursing.
Yeah, we're kind of a cross between. I would say it's really hard to define what it is that medics do because medics are so diverse in their training, and it depends on what type of units you were in. It depends if you indeed did work in a hospital at one time and then you were put out into the field as a field medic, or vice versa.
You
The field
guys hang
medic.
IV bags.
Oh, of course, yeah, we did all that.
Yeah,
Our
so
level
like
of
that.
training.
Well,
Our
I
level.
guess like like a paramedic also would do that. So that's probably
Yeah,
not a good test.
yeah, we were a little bit probably better than a paramedic as far as our level of training, I would say. But
Yeah.
then we had some things that you would never have a paramedic do, which is like I could do minor surgeries, like I could remove cysts. I could do I can do I did a lot of venereal warts, freezing those off.
Woohoo.
I did a lot of like regular clinical things that a lot of nurses would do in the civilian world. I did all kinds of stuff.
That all sounds like beyond the scope of practice for a nurse, as far as I know. Like a nurse practitioner might, but
Right.
like,
So it depends on it's a very nuanced, and because I even had training in veterinary medicine at one point.
have you done caths?
Yeah, Foley catheters.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
congratulations, you're basically a nurse.
Oh yeah, I've done that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done those.
Straight caths or Foley caths.
I've done cricothyroidotomies. I've done those.
I can't even say that.
Yeah, you know what that is, though, right?
No, not off the top of my head.
When you well, the Crike kits that we used were a angled large gauge needle that would basically pop into the trachea to help someone breathe. So it's basically a needle that it's a stoma basically, but it's kind of a portable stoma in a way. So we did those. I mean, for life saving, as far as somebody who have a compromised airway and they need an instant airway like that.
Like a tracheotomy.
Yeah, tracheotomy. Yeah, that was the word I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember right offhand. Yeah, tracheotomy like that. We did we have a lot of training, which does not translate into the fucking civilian world, which is ridiculous. But whatever. It translates, but it doesn't. Like you can't just go out into the civilian world as a medic in the military and do the same exact shit you did in the army. You just can't do it. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
No, you could probably just go straight into being a paramedic, though. Like
no, you can't. You have to go through the civilian standard test and all that stuff.
Yeah, but like you might be able to like use your experience to like out of any sort of like school requirement hours.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's absolutely true. And there's some certain college credits that you get for having a certain MOS, regardless of what the MOS is. Like mortarmen, people that fire the mortars. Those guys would be good people that do surveying, land surveying, because they have some skills that a land surveyor would use. There's all kinds of different things that you can translate back into the civilian world, but it all depends on what you want to do.
Coffee's good.
Yeah, and on the civilian side, like the scope of practice for nurses, at least like as far as I've experienced, like it's bizarrely like limited in certain ways. So like I am, being when I'm fully, licensed, I'll, be able to measure and hang and compound like, any sort of IV medicine. Right. But like, they don't teach me how to actually like plant an IV needle.
Oh, really?
Right. So like I could just waive my driver's license at an EMT class and go for like whatever 6 weeks. And like they'll teach me
at an RN level. You can't do an IV.
They have no, like I can, it's within the scope, but no one teaches you how to do that. It's not part of the curriculum. Like they tell me if I, whatever hospital you practice at, like if you want to go be an IV nurse, you like basically shadow an IV nurse for like 6 to 12 weeks.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So they basically teach you on the job. And that's not like that's not part of any of my curriculum. I've complained. I've like gone to the dean and been like, is this a joke? Tell me this is like an elaborate prank that everybody's playing on me. And she's like, no.
I mean, if you're a phlebotomist, I mean, it's virtually the same thing.
Yes. And I could go take a phlebotomy class at the school that I go to for nursing, and like they'll teach me that. But
that's
it's
another
not
thing
part
we
of the
do
nursing
too.
curriculum.
We do everything, like we do hearing tests, we do audiology, all of that kind of stuff. We do.
Yeah.
I got crazy how much
I had to take like an online class to like get clearance to do it in Massachusetts, the eye audiology scoliosis test for kids.
Yeah.
Because that was like that was one of the clinical, settings they might be putting me into, just like, here's an elementary school and an overworked nurse. Go help her out and do all the eye exams. Good luck, Ace.
Yeah,
But
no,
you know, I thought that was what I was going to have to do, but they only got 3 slots, and they gave that to our sister school that's down in, you know, by Cape,
yeah.
closer to Cape Cod. So yeah, that's how that worked out. So I don't actually have a clinical setting yet.
So,
Hopefully I'll
so
get
you're
one.
going into obstetrician, being an obstetrician
Uh,
nurse type thing.
So they could put you in maternity, but like they generally don't want us, like, you know, running around all thumbs in a where there's like babies. So I think they're
Right,
just putting us in pediatrics to
right.
satisfy the state's requirement for your clinical setting
Got it. Because I've worked
training.
labor and delivery too. That's another thing I've done. I've done it. I've worked labor and delivery before, cross training with labor and delivery. I don't know how many babies are born on a battlefield, but I know
One of them was
that
yours.
you can rub the fundus. The fundus, you rub the fundus to induce more contractions to deliver the placenta. I know that much. The peri pad is peri necessary because you want to make sure you have the peri pad down there, make sure that you can weigh it and make sure there's not excessive bleeding. You can reach in there and check for a nucocord around the neck. You know, I know all that stuff. You know, I know that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was lab this 3 days ago. No, 2 days ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that I can deliver a baby.
I'm not.
Oh no. I mean, depending on,
I've
hopefully
been
it's not
to one,
complicated.
so like, jeez.
I mean, if it's
That's why
breech, you're
that's
pretty
why they have like a whole squad to do that
right.
in the hospital. There were
Mhm.
people just standing around. I'm not even sure why they were there. It was like there was an audience that came in when my son was being born.
I mean, I might be a little lost if I had to do like an episiotomy or something like that. If I had to do something like that, I would be a little lost. But other than that, I probably could do it. I mean, what the hell? I might cause some permanent damage, but the damn kid will get out. How about that?
Yeah, no, that's pretty straightforward if it ever comes down to it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I did a lot of different cross training. Medic is a very interesting job, and especially I got really lucky twice because both times I was working under a physician assistant for the most part, and a lot of physician assistants in the Army, at least, or especially in the infantry, are ex special forces medics. So there were 18 deltas, and the first one that I worked with was a guy who was a former special forces medic that served in Vietnam. He was a much older guy, but he taught me so much. I can't even tell you how much he taught me. He taught me so many cool things that I would have never learned otherwise. You know, very, very good guy. And he's probably passed on by now, but very, very good man, and knew his shit. Like he taught me stuff. Like he would tell me all the time, it's not the textbook. The textbook doesn't matter in some situations. You make it work, is what he always tell me. You make it fucking work. If it doesn't work this way, you make it work this way.
That's largely how it works, you know, in this field too. That like you have, first of all, it's a 4-year degree, and they're just at this point they're so desperate for nurses, they've kind of just dropped that requirement statewide.
Right.
That like you can work at a major area hospital, you know, like a trauma center hospital,
right? Yeah.
With just 2 years, because like they need nurses to work, you know, specifically in that setting. It's not that there aren't enough nurses, you know, in the state anymore.
Right.
It's just that they don't really want to work in hospital settings, and they
need a lot of them. No,
like that. Yeah, I mean, post COVID, they're just like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to go be a travel nurse. I'm going to work in a doctor's office somewhere. You know, I'm good on that.
You could just be an ask a nurse dial up on the phone, just answer any call center if you wanted to. You know.
Yeah. So like, you know, just at a baseline, I'm going in with like 2 years of education instead of the 4 that's usually expected to work in that setting. And on top of that, like you pass your exam, whatever. And then you know, for the first job you get, you know, there's kind of like an apprenticeship where, you know, you have, basically like a mentor nurse that goes around with you. And,
right. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Like they call it a preceptor, but you know, that just sounds like some sort of weird fucking like Roman position. It's like, bring you the preceptor.
Sean,
I wouldn't teach you how to be a nurse, and you have a mentor, and they basically show you the ropes. And from what I understand, that's really where your education happens.
Well, that's kind of what we did in the Army too. I would like, after I got some time in and got some rank on my shoulder and blah blah blah. I became a guy who they would send medics out with. But when I first became a medic, that's what I had to do. I had to spend a certain amount of time with a field medic and take over his platoon slowly, because usually what it was is the outgoing medic would be the one who's mentoring the younger medic in the platoon that they're normally going to take over, at least in the units that I was in. And then eventually that younger medic takes over that platoon. And so that's how we did it. And like you said, a lot of the learning, all the school work and stuff, that's good and everything, but your real learning doesn't really happen until you actually get out on the job and actually do it.
What's up, Jen?
You know, just doing it. Because I'll tell you, man, if I would have had to do half of the stuff that I had to do later on in my time in the military, I would be scared to death coming right out of school doing all that shit. You know, I just,
that's pretty much how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's scary the first time you have somebody in front of you and you are it. You are the one. You are the one who's going to make a difference if whether or not this person lives or dies. Maybe sometimes it isn't that case, because like I tell people, I used to teach lifeguards too. And what I would tell them, what's that, Greg?
Oh no, it's a chat.
What I used to tell them is sometimes the patient is going to die no matter what you do. It just happens. And you did everything right. You did everything you could, but no matter what you did, if you followed all the steps and you did everything right, you still can lose somebody. And you got to understand that, you know.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people don't. A lot of people they beat themselves up after that. And for me, my very first one was a gunshot wound. It was I never told somebody whether or not they were going to survive or not, Sean. I would never say that you're going to be okay. I would never say that to anybody. I would say that I'm doing the best I can for you. That's what I would tell them. I would never say you're going to make it. You're not going to make it. I would never say anything like that. Because I don't know, really. I really don't know.
Yeah, they tell you right away. You don't make promises.
Yeah, I really don't know, because some minor things can turn out to be. People crash so quick. You wouldn't believe how quick people crash. Like they could be talking to you and looking just completely normal and everything, and next minute you're doing CPR on them. Like it's crazy. People crash really quick. Like it's no joke. I mean, 1 minute you're talking to them, you turn around to go grab something, you turn back around, they're fucking in respiratory arrest and cardiac arrest. I mean, it's just fucking crazy, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and usually if like someone's in a bad situation, like they're not very inquisitive about like, are you doing your very best? Like, hey, they're
Right.
they're probably not very engaged, at least like not in my experience. But then again, like I mostly, if in the medical surgical floors that I've worked on, like there's a lot of overlap with older patients who have a lot of comorbidities. So like, they're at the best of times, they're like borderline lucid. Some of them, so like when they start crashing, that's all gone. But yeah, it's usually like someone who's visiting or, like a family or a friend, and they're asking questions. It's,
I always tell people to talk to them.
It's just like, you just tell them we have our people with them right now. The rapid response team is on the way / already here / doing their job. You've done everything you can up until this point. Leave it to us.
Right.
Here's the the family room. Let me take you to it if I can get away, if they're not counting on me. But like, they really just want reassurance that they've done, that they're doing everything they can.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly right. I mean, we were taught that early on, especially with children. Like if you have a SIDS case, for instance, you have that. You with a kid, you always work the kid. You always do the CPR on the kid, even if there's obvious signs of death in most cases, because you want the parent to have that in last memory of their child that you did everything you possibly could. And there's a lot of other cases like that where you may just go through the motions just to satisfy that you did everything they could, or you could, in the eyes of the people that are around you. So, there's a lot of that kind of stuff too,
Yeah, wow, that's dark though, man.
Oh, I know, it's very dark, but that's the nature of it. A lot of times, it's just the way it is, and Um, you know, I know how I act when people are hurt real bad. I'm like, "You good, homie? Just sit down." And then I turn around like, "Yo, somebody called an ambulance." Well, to be honest with you, I'll tell you the best thing to do, Sean, in those situations. All you got to remember really is I usually add another letter because I use A, B, C, and B. Um, Airway, breathing, circulation. Well, A, B, B, C, whatever it is. Airway, breathing, circulation, and bleeding. Or actually, you can say H for hemorrhaging, whatever you want. And because airway is king, I always tell people that airway is king. If you don't have an airway, you have nothing else. You have nothing else. If they're not breathing, you have nothing else. You need to have that airway first, and then you have to have a pulse in order to get that oxygen going through the vital organs. You have to have that, so you have to make sure that you pump that oxygen through the body. Now nowadays, and from what I've heard, they're going away from less of the respirations, like giving people breaths, more of the chest compressions. I guess the theory is that they already have oxygenated blood in their body, and you can just do chest compressions. And the chest compressions by themselves would maybe cause, respiratory type function.
Yeah,
I guess.
like even if you've got like your lungs are mostly empty, like there's still oxygen there.
Right. So that's what I've heard.
And just the natural process of your lungs is going to like suck all the sweet oxygen out of whatever air is left there. And breathe, doing breaths takes a back seat. If you have two people, you want someone to definitely be doing that. But if you're the only one there, you do chest compressions, and maybe you take a break, very briefly to do like a breath after like 100 compressions or something. But you do compressions.
Now, from what I understand, at least from back when because everything changes. You know how people.
I was first CPR certified when I was 17. So that was
medical shit changes like people change underwear.
Right. So they told you that breathing. You start with breathing. You take a break after every 10 compressions.
Yeah, something.
And
like
you do
that,
more breaths. Yeah, it was just mud. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. It was a very different. And then I just got recertified at the beginning of last year. It's a 2-year certification, so it'll carry me through this program. And then when I start nursing, I got actually nursing, a job in nursing.
Now you have to go through the American Heart Association, right, for yours?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But I will say there is an exception to that as far as I'm aware up to this point in my knowledge, because I haven't been through medical training in a very long time now. But at least in my estimation, somebody that's been, let's say, submerged underwater, breaths are kind of important because they haven't had oxygen in their bodies for a bit. So giving somebody oxygen then would probably be a good idea. Also, somebody that was maybe an obstructed airway, like a choking person, that might be also a good idea, maybe at least initially, to get
I only went through basic when I got
Yeah.
certified this time. That's all I needed. And they didn't touch any of that.
Yeah.
Like they vaguely mentioned, like, if you see that there's something in there, like try and get it out. But like they used to teach you, like, finger swipe no matter what, just blind finger swipe, get in there.
Yeah.
Make sure, man, just stick your finger down his throat. It's all right.
Now for a baby, you're not supposed to do a blind.
You're doing it to a dead person. Bring him back to life.
Right. Yep. I mean, it's all good stuff to know. I recommend anybody just take a basic class in first aid. It can't hurt you. It's going to help you. And it's always good to be the one that if something happens to somebody around you, at least you have a basic idea what to do.
I don't think they even taught us like Heimlich this time around. Like I remember Heimlich was a big part.
They don't even use that term anymore, by the way, sir. That is a what do you call it? It's a trademark. What do you call it? Patented name nowadays.
Oh,
it's like the birthday song. Yeah.
That's awful.
So we call it the abdominal thrust now. The abdominal thrust.
Wow.
I know how to do it. Like
that sounds like a movie Street Fighter.
How about this, Mr. Nursing student? You have an 8-month pregnant female choking actively on her pickles and ice cream. Where are you going to do your abdominal thrust at?
Oh, I don't know. You would just above like her baby bump.
You would do it in on her thorax. You would actually do it at her chest level. So you would just go straight in for chest thrust,
Yeah,
hoping
like
that
just below like the xiphoid process,
no,
right?
above the xiphoid, above the
Really?
xiphoid process. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, that's exactly what you would do. Unless that's changed too. Of course, that's all up to
They
changing.
don't
But
teach you that. All of my knowledge is like whatever, fucking 30 years old almost.
yeah.
So
Well, me
like,
too.
yeah,
For a
it's
lot of
pretty
it.
rusty.
Yeah, but
So I
yeah,
don't, yeah,
that
and I don't even know if they taught us what to do if there's a pregnant lady. Like, to be
yeah.
honest, again, I only took
It's funny they
this was like
forget
to
that
pass
there's.
my high school health class. So like,
It's almost
I just
it's
had to do basic.
Oh no, I agree with that. But sometimes I think to myself, it's almost like they just forgot that pregnant people exist. Like, could somebody pregnant be choking next to you? And then what are you going to do? You going to just go ahead and do the abdominal thrust on them? I don't think so.
No,
You know,
probably not. Hopefully you
Mm-mm.
figure out not to do that. But yeah,
Right?
I would have guessed you have to at least be like kind of belowish the ribs, but I guess not, because like if you apply pressure at any point from the, if
Right?
assuming they're stopped up, like
Right?
pressure anywhere is going to probably help.
Right? Absolutely.
It's
And
not going to
that's
be as effective as if you're going in from under the diaphragm, but like,
but it's all you got, man. I mean, you can disrupt the baby. You can cause some internal issues there, but internal bleeding even for a pregnant woman like that. So
what you actually do is make sure you do a full set of Leopold maneuvers to figure out where the baby's head in. And if it's
right,
longitudinal and almost engaged, then you just fucking have at it.
right.
Just a broken leg. That kid'll
Yeah.
thank you for it someday.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people at the very least, a lot of times something is better than nothing. And if you are trained, you are covered by the Good Samaritan law. So as long as you stay within the scope of your training, then you should be good as far as the Good Samaritan law is concerned. If you're a first responder, and yeah, that's what it is. But medical is very good to know. If you just, I mean, even if you just watch some YouTube videos and learn about how to stop bleeding and what to do with the burn and those kinds of things, those things are useful to have, to know. What do you do with an impaled object? Like, what if somebody sticks a screwdriver in their eye? Because I actually had that happen to me. I had a guy that was drunk and trying to break into his fucking barracks room, and he stuck a screwdriver in his eye. What do you do for that? A lot of people don't know.
I don't know.
You don't want to yank it out, I'll tell you that much. And what you want to do is you want to secure a good home remedy for it if you want to use it that way, or even just things available to you at the time. Is you want to take you can make a donut out of a shirt, okay, if you wanted to, if that's all you have, right? And then surround that object to stabilize it in the eye, and then you want to bandage both eyes. So you want to cover both eyes so that it controls the movement of the eye. So if you bandage just one, then if the other eye is moving, looking around, it's not stabilized. So you want to bandage both eyes for almost any eye injury. You want to bandage both sides, but to stabilize it is the thing.
It's like putting blinders on them, right?
Right. And
that's smart.
And another way to do it too is you can take a styrofoam cup or any kind of cup that you can poke a hole through the bottom, and you can use that as well to stabilize the object. If it's longer, you can use that, but you don't want to just go yanking it out.
Yeah, I didn't think that was the right answer.
No, but you just different things like that. It's always good to know stuff like that.
Yeah, again, like that's not. They definitely don't worry about teaching nurses that. They just want to make their first job is seriously to make sure you can count, and do the math. Right. Like they really drill all of us for that. Like I'm good on all of it, but like there are some nurses that just struggle with it.
Well, and also my training has to do with, I do have to do a lot of, I had to learn how to build, what a hair traction splint is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to learn how to build one of those in the field with no hair traction splint. Like I know how to build an actual hair traction splint.
Yeah, that is definitely beyond any of my scope of practice.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
If that shit's not in the supply room, like,
yeah,
God bless. Yeah. I'm going to go get the chaplain.
Yeah, and I've used it a couple of times, but it's actually pretty simple. It's a kind of a simple thing, but basically what you're doing is you're taking two longer things, whatever rigid thing you have available, but you make it go past the foot. And then what you do is you poke a hole through the shoe or the boot all the way through, and then you tie the whatever you have, rope or cravat or whatever you have, shirts, whatever you have to make a long rope out of. Then what you do is you wrap that around the outside of the length of the stick, so you have the sticks or the planks going longer than the leg, and then when you pull up on that, it'll pull the leg straight. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I don't know if you can envision that, but once you're pulling
I'll watch
it
the replay and I'll like
right, you're pulling
crayon
it back and it
figure
just
it out.
kind of doing that. But yeah, a hair tracking splint for people who have a fractured femur, that kind of thing. I learned all kinds of crazy shit, man. I mean, I could be a damn shaman.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is really like, it's more of a paramedics training than like a
Right.
nurse's training. We assume that
because in a hospital you have assets that are around you all the time.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
by the time they get to us, like they've
Yeah.
probably seen a paramedic by that point, or like if it's really, an emergency situation, like that's why a lot of like ER nurses have both training in both. Like they've got paramedic training and nursing training.
Right.
So like
and you're not going to be taking blood pressures over pee. You know what I mean? You're not going to be doing, well, I'm just palpating this blood pressure to see what the blood pressure could be based on where the pulse is. You can feel the pulse and stuff like that. These are things that we had to do because we don't use flashlights at night. So you're not using a blood pressure cuff to take a blood pressure. You're using it through palpations. And think about this shit. If you ever want somebody to get a good stick on your vein, an Army medic is probably one of your best choices because we have to do that at night, in the rain, no flashlight, sometimes riding on the back of a dark vehicle, moving all around. It's not a fixed target or anything. And we get really good at sticking people with needles. So if you want somebody to take your blood, draw your blood, make sure they're an ex-military medic, and you'll probably not worry about them fishing around for your fucking vein, which is painful as hell. You don't want that. So
yeah, that's one skill I would like to develop.
Yeah. Stick for you, man. If it's babies, man, I don't know how. I really don't know how. I've never stuck a baby before. I don't know.
No, I don't want to work with like pediatrics.
Yeah, that would be hard. I know
and
they
it's
use
kind of like a high demand
butterfly
thing. Like I don't think that they would give me the job because I'm kind of like a big hairy gorilla looking human being.
yeah.
So like, like you don't want like mom to say like, "Hello, I'm your nurse."
Right. Yeah. Let me have your little fragile kid.
Yeah. They call me Igor. I'm your nurse.
Yeah. Bigfoot take care of child.
Yeah, exactly. But they have like the little dainty old, like my nurse, like my pediatrics nursing teacher. She's like 70 years old and just
wow.
She's just like she's everybody's favorite grandma.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and you send that lady. You don't send me.
Yeah.
So like,
send you for lifting people. You are the lifter guy.
Yeah, well, no, they have machines for that. I ain't lifting shit. Let me tell you.
Oh, damn it, man!
I love my lower back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know that. Yeah.
That's
one of my ailments.
Honestly, like one of our lab instructors like was just shooting the shit with a bunch of us students, and like we were talking about like we asked them all like where have you worked? What was some of the most interesting things, and she told us that she spent a lot of time after she got out of school just working in prisons.
Oh, wow.
And we were like, what's that like? And she's like, she said it's mostly boring if you go there at night because obviously everybody's just asleep at night. Yeah. It's a pretty good, and they pay, and she said they pay better than any other hospital. So like, if you can handle it. So I'm thinking, I can probably handle it.
I heard of a story where this guy was going through the surgery to be transitioned from a male to a female. Yeah. And I heard this from a nurse that worked in a prison, that he got into a fight with somebody and apparently his breast implant was dislodged and displaced. So it was like in the center of his chest or something like that. I was just like, that's pretty crazy. But anyway, guys, I got to go because it's dinner time and you guys have a great day. Pleasure talking to you. Great night, man. I know a lot of this was probably boring for most of you guys, but maybe it was interesting. I don't know.
It's always nice to talk to you, Tats.
Yeah, very nice, man, and I always love talking to somebody that has a little bit of or a lot. Like you have a lot of knowledge, man, and I think you're going to be a great nurse, man.
Got you fooled.
Yeah, yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Take it easy.
Hey, you too.
Yeah, it's getting close to dinner time for me too, so I don't know how much longer I've got.
Okay, thank you for coming up. Great night.
No, yeah. So well, I mean, I got a little bit of time. What are you up to, Greg?
I was fucking falling asleep. Well, I woke last night.
Oh yeah, no, you didn't sleep very good.
No, I can't sleep in the daytime
Oh, jeez.
because I work nights.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's rough, man.
Yeah, I know it is.
You got like blackout curtains and shit?
Yeah, no, it don't fucking work anyhow.
Yeah. They help me. I've had to when I was just a new dad, I haven't had to work nights in a while, but like when when you've got like an infant, you get sleep wherever you can. And that was real. We had just moved to a new house and it was really impossible because we had like a shitload of windows in the bedroom and then we just got blackout curtains and that's just such a blessing. So like because we had moved to a new place, we didn't have anything we were happy to have just fucking blinds for the windows. Right. But like when we eventually got those, that was such a godsend. I was able to like almost mostly fall asleep for a little while, and you desperately need that. You can only sleep for 3 hours at a time. It's like a kind of elaborate torture. It's like a Saw movie, but for parents.
Yeah, I get home at 6 o'clock this morning. Normally I'm up at 2. It was 2 o'clock, in the morning I could sleep good. But if it doesn't, no.
Yeah, I usually don't sleep through the night anyway. Like I don't know what my problem is. It's just probably my circadian rhythm is all screwed up.
Maybe old age, I don't know.
Yeah, could be. I am getting older every day. But yeah, I don't know. I actually did sleep pretty good last night, but I woke up with a headache and went to sleep for a little while this morning anyway. And only got up like 9 or 10 o'clock, which is late for me, but it's kind of the beginning of my weekend, so that's all right. Anyway, what hours do you work, Greg?
I woke depends. I work 3 days a week, but from 2 a.m. I work from 9:30 a.m. 1 p.m. to 4:30.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a rough one. So like you leave in the dark and you get back in the dark.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm off tomorrow too.
Yeah. Well, at least you have a few days off a week so you can get to see the sunlight because that's kind of rough.
Yeah. And I'm off Tuesday too, and I can help them again with the homeless.
That's cool.
That's what me and Chairman always go to the sometimes that's why I help him sometimes with the homeless if I don't work that day.
Yeah. You go just volunteer down there.
Yeah.
That's cool. Who do you go with?
Check Among Us.
I don't think I know them.
You know the guy who said that, let's fucking go?
Maybe.
And
I don't know everybody. I don't necessarily know everybody that's on here.
Well, you're not?
I know like STS. I know you. I know Tats.
Okay.
I know a few people. I think the one auditor begins with an M, blanking on his name.
How about Alo?
I don't think so.
You know Alo? Wow.
Well, I do. No. I've seen him. I don't know him, but I've seen him on the stream. But like, I don't really know who he is. I know him from here, but like, I don't know who that is. Outside of the context of one of the talking boxes on your streams.
Oh no, here comes Troublemaker. Mitch. Where you live at, Mama? What state?
I live up in Massachusetts.
Ah, 3 hours difference, huh?
A little bit. Where are you?
California.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, close to Elo. Elo live in California. Hard life.
Yeah, what part? Northern or southern?
Uh, Southern California, like LA County.
Nice part.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool once in a while.
But it is a few hours difference from here to there. But that does make sense, more sense, like the schedule that you keep sometimes. Because I see your streams are up like super late, and I'm like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I know that you work nights and you live in California, it makes a lot more sense now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. So listen, I'm gonna get going before I
Okay.
actually properly get in trouble with my wife. So thank you
Okay.
very much for the stream. I'll see you
Okay.
another time. Take it easy,
Okay,
Gregor.
thank you for coming up.
But thank you. Be good.
Okay, bye. Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this. I'm going to take a little nap. Okay, guys. You have a nice evening. And talk to you later.